So as you can see from the thumbnail, it was my golden birthday this year. Y'all, the clock is ticking. I'm getting real close to 30. Hello all of my otaku friends, my name is Profitaku and welcome back to my channel for another manga haul video. Every year for my birthday month, I try to go a little bit over the top, buy some things I normally wouldn't buy, and I bought several huge chunks of series I can't wait to show you. Stay tuned. So first, let's start off with the manga that was sent to me by the wonderful folks over at Yen Press. As always, thanks so much to Callista and the team for continuing to send me manga every month for me to showcase on the channel and review for you guys to put some new things on y'all's radar. First up, we have a manhwa series, a complete series that they sent me, volumes 1 and 2 of Bloody Sweet. Surprisingly, they sent me another volume 1, even though they sent me a volume 1 several months back. I read the volume, I loved it actually. It's not an average vampire story. It follows this girl who's a loner. She finds this ancient vampire and they are tagged together by this red thread. Very, very interesting volume 1. Highly recommend. 2-volume short series, you can't go wrong. A manga adaptation of a light novel, In the Land of Leedale volume 5. A very surprising series. Not anything that will blow you out of the water. Follows a girl who is sick and then she gets transported into this fantasy world. Very stereotypical fantasy. It is a video game type of thing, but it works really well. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. A very turn your brain off read. Now here's one I hear a lot of people talking about. Manga adaptation of another light novel, Bride of the Barrier Master volume 1. It follows this girl who is quite powerful, but she keeps her powers a secret and she gets into a relationship with the Barrier Master here. There's this whole fantasy world about these barriers that protect the city, and she gets into this relationship to live a comfortable life. Seems very interesting, very different, and lots of people have been saying really good things about it, so I'm excited to check it out. And I always love the artwork of these light novel adaptations. They always seem to really impress me with the shading and the character design, as well as the environments and landscapes. Moving on to another manhwa, we have What's Wrong with Secretary Kim volume 3. If you like soap opera drama, if you like a tsundere type of woman, if you like a brashish man who's trying to get with the tsundere woman, well, then you're gonna like this one. A new manhwa that's on a lot of people's radars, See You in My 19th Life. It follows this girl who has been reincarnated several times in the past, and then she wants to get back with her previous relationship, but the man that she's trying to court has emotional trauma after dealing with this girl dying in his arms. Romance is the last thing on his mind. Seems really dark, but seems really interesting as well. I really love the artwork and the presentation in these physical manhwa collections. They're just so well done with the full color. Great job, Eyes Press, for putting this out. Just fantastic. I cannot wait to read this one. A boys love series I actually don't know anything about, The Red Thread volume 2. Now that I have 2 volumes, I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. I have actually heard this one being talked about on manga Twitter, so I will see if this is any good. Here's one that surprised me. I don't know Witches Love volume 2. If you like harems, but you like a Yuri setting, this is one for you. It follows this college girl who had no romance in high school, yet she goes into college and all these different girls are trying to get with her. It's actually pretty funny and the episodes are great and all the girl characters are really well done, so I enjoyed volume 1. Can't wait to try volume 2. Another manhwa by one of my favorite authors of all time, JH. We have The Boxer volume 5. I'm several volumes behind on this, but I did read the first 2 volumes and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It really hooked me with this boxing setting. It's really easy to get through too, very fast paced. So yeah, if you're looking for a boxing sports manga that's really dark and gritty, this is the one for you. From the same mangaka who does Cheeky Brat, we have Stray Cat and Wolf volume 2. I don't know anything about this. I actually did drop Cheeky Brat. I didn't really like the writing style. I am hesitant about this one, but I'm going to give it a fair shot. Now that I have 2 volumes, it's a great chance for me to give it a try. Here's a manga that just seems right up my alley, something I think I'm going to absolutely love. We have Witch Life in a Micro Room volume 1. It follows 2 roommates who are witches and they're trying to make a name for themselves in their industry, but of course they live in this little micro room. It just follows their shenanigans day to day. Looks so cute. I cannot wait to read this one. I'm going to get diving into this one straight away. Another surprising Yen Press series that I think everybody needs to read, My Dear Curse Casting Vampiress volume 3. This is is fantastic. It's dark, it's gritty, it's got an interesting romance, it has a very interesting world. Think of it as like the dark grittiness of Psycho-Pass with the mystery and the different organizations, times Tokyo Ghoul with kind of the vampire-esque type of stuff. Yes, I just think that overall, it's a very well-written manga and one that you need to put on your radar. But for those of you who don't know what this series is about, it follows this organization of humans who are fighting against vampires, and they free the ultimate vampire, a vampire who actually attacked other vampires way back in the day, reincarnate her to fight alongside the humans for the greater good. And last but not least, in this section, we have Tokyo Babylon Volume 2, a Clamp series that is the prequel to X, and I don't know about this one. I thought Volume 1 was just okay. It follows some exorcist in this Neo-Tokyo world. It just was really kind of weird with the boys' love aspect to it, and I just couldn't get the vibe and what the whole overarching story is actually supposed to be. Hopefully Volume 2 kind of shells out some of those concerns that I have. From Square Enix, we have one volume here, The Ice Guy and the Cool Girl Volume 2. I enjoyed Volume 1, episodic. Seems something that might get a little boring. It's on thin ice, as you could say. I'm actually pretty proud of that one, okay? But in all seriousness, I do think that this series itself needs to have something going in every volume to continue to hook me into the story. We'll see how Volume 2 goes, and I'm hoping that I really do like this one because I do like the premise. From Seven Seas, we have two different series. First off is a one-shot, The Secret of Friendship. Now, this was never on my radar, but I did pick it up because I'd heard from somebody that this is by Kazuna Kawahara, who is the same mangaka who wrote High School Debut and My Love Story, two shoujo series that I absolutely love. This is a different artist than what she's collaborated with in the past, so I am curious to see how the artwork works. But with that being said, any story written by this mangaka, I am definitely going to read, and I'm also intrigued that it is a one-shot as well. And the first big series that I picked up is one that I'd had my eye on for years, and it was out of print for a long time, and then Seven Seas finally reprinted it in its completion, so I'm able to get up to date with it. We have volumes 1 to 17 of A Certain Scientific Railgun. Now, this manga functions in the same universe as A Certain Magical Index, and I do have the ginormous Yen Press light novel omnibus collector's edition, but I've always wanted this manga right here because it is a, I guess you could call it a spin-off or a side story, but apparently you're supposed to start with Scientific Railgun. The timeline is very confusing in this world, but I've heard a lot of people say start with this and then go into A Certain Magical Index, so I am glad to have finally picked up this manga under retail, be able to get these reprints done and get it for such a great price to be able to finally read this series. Several volumes from Kodansha here in this section. First up is an omnibus, one that I was very intrigued by. We have King in Limbo volumes 1 and 2. This is just such a unique story. It follows this world where there is this sickness called the sleep going around, where people would fall asleep and never wake up, kind of similar to a pandemic type of thing. Then they were able to cure it, but then one day this sickness comes back. This Navy SEAL wakes up in the hospital, and he's charged with trying to find a cure for the sleep that's arisen once again. But he needs to find one gentleman who is instrumental in curing the sleep in the first place, and his name is the King. I'm super intrigued by this. I love different manga, and I've heard really good things about this first omnibus, so I can't wait to dive into this one myself. Another series that was recommended to me is Volume 1 of Nina the Starry Bride. I think this was recommended to me by Laura A. Grace. She said that this was a really fun fantasy romance series, and anything that Laura says, I have a lot of faith in picking up, so I am going into this blind. I have no clue what it's about, but it does look really, really, really interesting, really dark and gritty, but also really shoujo-esque, so this is going to be a lot of fun to read. And also, if you need to be sold on this more, this is winner of the 2022 Kodansha Manga Award, so anything that wins an award, in my eyes, is definitely a sell. 3 volumes here from one series, one that I was waiting to finally finish for quite a while now. We have volumes 16, 17, and 18 of Something's Wrong With Us. Volume 16 finishes the series, and then 17, 18, and 19 after this. We'll have all the side stories, spin-off type of things with this universe, and I'm super excited to get into this soap opera drama romance series. Everybody has been talking about this being a bingeable series. I just can't wait to dive into it. And last but not least, from Kodansha, we have one of my favorite things in their catalog, In the Clear Moonlit Dusk by Mika Yamamori, following two teenagers. They're both called the Prince at their school, one girl, one guy. They get into a relationship together. However, it is her first relationship, and so it's really, really cute, really fun, great shoujo mangaka. Mika Yamamori is one mangaka I cannot recommend to read enough. From Dark Horse, we have a good chunk of omnibuses here. First off is a brand new series, omnibuses 1 to 6 of a newly reprinted series that is getting a continuation from Dark Horse after several years on hiatus in terms of the English printing, and that is Oh My Goddess. This is a rom-com series that had a very long run starting in the late 80s, and one that was never on my radar. I actually found these omnibuses sitting on a shelf at a comic book store in Livermore, California. I was intrigued by it. I read volume 1 online. I was like, oh, actually I like this a lot. It reminds me a lot of Rumiko Takahashi type of manga, and so I decided to pick it up off of the recommendation of Mark Reed's manga specifically. And for those of you who don't know, it follows this guy who is down on his luck, and he just wishes for this goddess to be by his side, to be his girlfriend, and she comes into his life. She's like, I'm the goddess and I'm here to be by your side. And thus it follows their shenanigans together as he's trying to hide the fact that she's a goddess. But as you can see, very much late 80s, early 90s style artwork, at least here in this first omnibus volume. Lots of fun, not the funniest thing in the world, but definitely one to get a chuckle or two. If you're a big fan of classic manga, this is one that you definitely need to grab. And completing a series from Dark Horse are 2 deluxe editions, volumes 9 and 10, so getting me up to volume 31 of Blade of the Immortal. Now, believe it or not, I have not read Blade of the Immortal, but I have read Samuro Sensei's other work, Wave, Listen to Me, their comedy, romance, slice of life series following a radio girl, which is pretty crazy. But from what I've heard about Blade of the Immortal, it's right up there with Vagabond, 2 of the greatest samurai series of all time. Now that I have finished collecting these deluxe editions, I cannot wait to get started and get this series read in 2024. Fun fact, I actually picked these up on in-stock trades. Volume 10 was only $20, so I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and buy the last 2 omnibuses and finish this collection off. From Viz Media, we have a big stack of manga. First up here, we have Tokyo These Days by Taiyo Matsumoto in these beautiful hardcovers. I am a simp for Taiyo Matsumoto. Of course, I was going to pick up the newest release work in English, and this follows a manga editor who's just really feeling the bog down, the depression of being in this industry, and he's wanting to get out of it, but then he gets sucked back in. Seems super intriguing. I cannot wait to see what Taiyo Matsumoto has to write and what to say about this. He always makes me think when I read his mangas, and I absolutely love everything that he does. Next up is a shoujo series, one that's on the top of most people's favorite shoujo list. We have Yona of the Dawn volume 40. I have thoroughly enjoyed reading Yona of the Dawn. I read the first 7 volumes. Politics, fantasy, action, romance, crazy thriller stuff. I mean, it's just got everything you want. It's a great shoujo shonen manga, if you want to call it that. So yes, Yona of the Dawn, can't wait. Next up is a more fluffy shoujo, Rainbow Days Volume 7. I did do a Volume 1 first impression. I am still enjoying this series. I am enjoying the way the characters are developing, following our 4 boys who are just trying to find love in their own different ways. So yes, school life manga, but I do enjoy it. Speaking of school life manga, we have Volume 4 of Insomniacs After School, one of my favorite new releases of 2023 and one of my favorite series in my collection. I think that this is one of the most well-written manga that I have ever read, following 2 teenagers that are joining an astrology club, but they just want to find sleep because they are both insomniacs, but there's obviously some romance in there, very educational, a beautiful manga, and one that everybody needs to read. Here's a volume I thought I'd never get. It was a very short print run at the beginning and went out of stock for months and months and months, and then I got a package from Crunchyroll the other day, and I was like, what is this? It's just one volume, and it was a volume I forgot to cancel on Crunchyroll. That's volume 7 of Hunter x Hunter. This volume was created when Togashi-sensei did that big binge of chapters when he came off of hiatus, so it's great to finally have this in the collection. I haven't read Hunter x Hunter, but I have watched the 2011 anime. Thoroughly enjoyed it, one of my favorite animes of all time. Eventually, I'm going to get around to reading it. A rom-com series that's almost over here. We have volume 11 of Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. Is this one that I'm probably going to keep in my collection? No, I'm probably going to finish it out and then sell it off. It's a good rom-com series, great slice of life following this boy who is very much a loner boy. Nobody barely pays attention to him, and then you've got this really popular cute girl, Kubo, who won't let him be invisible. She's always trying to bring him into the group and be involved, and it's just really cute and fluffy. Next up is one of my favorite slice of life series of all time. We have Freerun Beyond Journey's End Volume 9. The anime has made this manga blow up, and for great reason. One of the best slice of life fantasy stories out there, following this elf who has lived quite a long life, and she's starting to discover what loss and the value and preciousness of life is as she's going beyond the journey's end. She's starting this new adventure with a new party of people. But yes, I'm super glad to be up to date with this so I don't have to fight to find the volumes right now. Now here's a series that I really need to get on the train about, and that is Akane-Banashi Volume 3, a Shonen Jump series, and I have to be in the right mood to read Shonen Jump. I'm just so picky about it, but a series about Rakugo is something I've never experienced before, and I have only heard great things from friends that I trust, so it's just a series that I just really need to get on the hype train about. Speaking of Shonen Jump series that may be a little bit stereotypical, we have Kaiju number 8, Volume 9. I like this series. I don't love it. I think the action is great. I think the story is interesting enough. It is stereotypical with lots of battles and monsters and stuff like that, but the characters are interesting and the story is developing well, so a series that I will continue to pick up. Here's one of those series that I binge bought here for my birthday, a complete series, one that I put a lot of faith in, but we have volumes 1 to 16 of Dengeki Daisy. This is a shoujo beat manga with several volumes out of stock. I did buy this over retail actually, but with that being said, the price was too good to pass up. I just paid a little bit over retail. It wasn't that much, to be honest with you, considering how much the series actually goes currently. Will it get reprinted? I don't know. Shoujo beat series are so finicky, but the reason why I picked up the series is because of Summer, my friend on Instagram. This is her favorite series of all time, and when Summer says that she has a favorite series of all time, I trust her opinion, especially when it comes to shoujo, so I decided to go ahead and pick this up physically. I did read the first several volumes in December. It was on my reading log. I read it digitally, and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to go ahead and pick up the physicals here in January. So here we are with the whole set, and hopefully I will finish this very soon. And last but not least, from Viz Media, we have Omnibus 8 of Alice in Borderland. We are almost done with this series. If you love death games, if you love battle royale, if you like things like the Hunger Games, this is the series for you. This series, the story, the way that it's paced, the characters, the art, everything about it has continued to grip me omnibus by omnibus. If this ends well, this could easily be a top 10 series. I'm dead serious, and it's pretty hard to crack my top 10 nowadays. So Alice in Borderland, I cannot wait to read this. Now the rest of the manga in this haul are all things I have talked about in previous videos over the last several weeks. I'll leave cards in the upper right hand corner so you can get tagged to those videos if you'd like to check them out and my thoughts on all of these manga that I picked up. First up, we have from the Kinokuniya vlog, we have Neighborhood Story Volume 1, and we also have Kaguya-sama Volume 27, Takopi's Original Sin Volume 1, and Guyabano Holiday Volume 1 that I did on a little short. From my Merry Manga Company surprise unboxing manga haul, we have Wonder House of Horrors, Young, Alive, in Love, Osamu Tezuka's 100 Tales, a short story collection, A Favorable Wind, on full sales, another short story collection from Mississippi, Invisible Parade, another short story collection from Punpanya, An Invitation from a Crab. We have Shigeru Mizuki's Nananba from Drawn and Quarterly. We have Glailiolia, And last but not least, from Glacier Bay Books, we have Pandora, a beautiful release. And that is it for my massive manga haul for the month of January 2024. I hope you enjoyed this manga haul and all my thoughts on everything. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything that you picked up this month you want to put on my radar, or anything that I picked up that you want to talk about. As always, if you enjoy the content of my videos, make sure you hit that like button, tap the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know when more of my videos come out, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.